the Malaysian government has defended its handling of a recent protest by thousands of ethnic Indians in the country.
Yes, it follows the arrest of 5 senior members of an Indian rights group, Hindraf, under the country's Internal Security Act.
Speaking exclusively to Al Jazeera, Malaysia's foreign minister says the government has sufficient evidence to hold them under the act.
These are the men who've been detained under Malaysia's Internal Security Act, or ISA. It's used to hold people threatening national security. The 5 were leaders of Hindraf, the group that organised these demonstrations in November. Altogether, 105 were charged on various charges, including illegal assembly, attempted murder and sedition. 31 were refused bail. But the ISA is a different matter because it allows authorities to hold people without trial.
The government is very reluctant to use ISA unless we feel that there is a need because security and safety is being threatened. And I think we are a very sensitive country where we are multiracial, we are multicultural, multi-religious. If you start to incite people, and it can go out of hand.
The ISA hasn't been used for 6 years, and it's deeply controversial.
The ISA is continuously a misuse of law. It was designed for the communist insurgency and threat. That was 40 years ago. That has been passed. That has gone. So now it's being used for political purposes. The ISA is definitely something which should be done away with.
Now that the law has been used, it seems to indicate a new resolve by authorities to consolidate their position against mass demonstrations. This was a rally calling for electoral reform in mid-November. This was a small group of lawyers calling for judicial independence just last weekend. It all adds up to a lot of anti-government activity here, the first significant demonstrations for 10 years. But the Hindraf demonstrations and the government's reaction to them have many people worried there could be wider racial violence. In turn, critics are concerned authorities are using the spectre of racial hatred to clamp down on all forms of dissent. Now analysts have warned this could turn out to be Malaysia's Prague Spring. In other words, the demonstrations will only be followed by a severe clampdown.
It is not a question of we will clamp down. No, I think under the present government, they have been very open and transparent about a lot of things. They have given a lot of freedom. But when we see that we allow them to do certain things, their behavior has created us to believe that they are not interested to voice their views, but they're more interested to create chaos and disorder in the country.
It seems opposition groups are testing to see how far they can push the administration of Prime Minister Abdullah Badawi in the run-up to elections due by 2009, in which case this isn't a Prague Spring, but the start of Malaysia's election season. Veronica, Pedrosa, Al Jazeera, Kuala Lumpur.